Hey y'all, it's your good sis Erica Vane here to join you to our weekly visit to St. Joe's Parish in Louisiana for Queen Sugar. In this video, we are going to be breaking down episode 2. Let's get into it. Oh, y'all, we saw a season premiere that was moving to say the least. It ended with Prosper experiencing some police brutality, and we pick up right where that left off with him in the hospital, and the Bordelons are in the waiting room, very much so worried. We're still in the like corona-ish era, so they have to wait out in the waiting room and they can't actually go into the room with him. But we learn that he's in a medically induced coma to reduce the swelling on his brain. As we saw in the last episode, when he was pushed, he hit his head, which probably caused some hemorrhaging and some swelling in his brain, and now they have him in a medically induced coma so that they can try to decrease the inflammation. Now, in the waiting room bursts Prosper's daughter, Billy, who clearly has a bone to pick with the Bordelon. Sis comes in with sass and attitude, and it's just like, I'm just not understanding why, because this family has taken care of your family this entire time. And out of 5 seasons, sis, this is the very first time that we are actually seeing you. So, what exactly is going on? Things really kind of escalate with her in this episode. She has a confrontational moment with Violet outside of Prosper's room where she actually restricts access to all of the Borderlones because she feels offended and very defensive about Vi and her place there. Now, one thing that I will say about Aunt Vi is that she is pushy, she is overbearing, and yes, she is possessive. However, that woman loves and loves very hard and has been there beyond for Prosper. So while yes, Vi's natural character traits are a bit much, and we're seeing that manifest with Ra and Blue, right? Like she's very possessive over Blue, and that, pushed her and Ra away from each other, and they're at, opposite ends and fighting because she really believes like Blue is basically hers too, and she's overstepping and she tends to overstep. But in this case, she ain't. Even with Billy coming in hot like she did and having an attitude that she did, Vi was very humble. She had a lot of humility, and she was trying her best to support her with her words and help the girl make decisions that were going to be very, very tough. But you could really tell that there's some underlying things happening with Billy and some resentment. And she mentions it in her dialogue as she talks to various members of the Bordelon family throughout the episode. She talks to Charley and she's just like, he would rather be here during the pandemic than actually be with me and my kids and spend time with his family. But no, he got to be with the Bordelons. And it's like, girl, one, this man is sitting in his sick bed fighting for his life, and you're still resenting him for some decisions that he made ultimately, which I think that Prosper might have made because he felt like a burden to her. Like when she comes in, and it's so great, like I love the conversation that Charley has with her at the hospital, because Charley's like, we're so much alike, and she's literally giving me season 1 Charley. And I'm so glad that Charley said it, because it really just put a lot of things into perspective in reference to this, well-to-do, intelligent woman with a chip on her shoulder coming back to St. Joe's Parish after she'd have made it out and done something with herself, and kind of looking down on all the people there, and then resenting her family, which is her father, and the surroundings for not, molding with her or evolving with her, And Charley definitely went through that all of season 1, right? So she was very great to speak to her about this, and though she was very honest, and I think that some of it resonated with Billy, it wasn't enough to actually get her to change her mind. Nova is the one who actually got her to change her mind when she went over there basically and checked her, and this actually opened up a can of worms that we're going to have to learn about later, because basically Nova's like, regardless of what you feel about my aunt and us and what you feel about St. Joe and your dad or whatever, you owe me, and I want this. I want you to let us love your father. I want you to let Aunt Vi do what Aunt Vi does, and that's it, that's all. And she concedes almost immediately after she makes that statement, and it just lets me know, like, dang, something must have happened that she doesn't want to come out, or that she does really do believe that she owes Nova, so she's gonna go ahead and drop it. But regardless, like, the stance that she took, you could tell that she kind of resents Prosper for his love of the Borderlones, and maybe she also feels like he loved them more, which is going to be interesting to see. Now, when Prosper actually wakes up, because he does wake up in this episode, thank God, he's talking to Ra about Ra's daughter, because Ra has a sonogram, and one of the first people that he wanted to show the sonogram to was Prosper. And he happens to go to pick up medicine and check in on Prosper, and he's awake. And Prosper starts to mention like, you take care of your daughter better than I did mine, and love her. And Ra reminds him like, you still got time. So there is something on Prosper's end as well, and we're going to see in this season, I guess, him make amends and try to be a better dad and really show up for Billy. And regardless, I'm just glad you're awake, Prosper. He's awake and walking around by the end of the episode, and I'm like, thank God, that's one less worry that we got. Hallelujah. Okay, the drama surrounding Prosper and his newly introduced daughter was one of the big things of the episode. Another more subtle thing that I think we're going to see play out throughout the season is at the top of the episode, after everyone starts to leave the hospital, Micah's sitting outside on the phone, and a police officer like is rude to him as they're bringing in, I guess, inmate or a prisoner in a wheelchair into the hospital, and that instantly sends him to a flashback to his incident with the police, and then a couple of other incidences that he has seen, and we can see that Micah is still struggling with PTSD from his experiences with law enforcement, and this is going to probably continue to reverberate throughout the season. And I am so glad that they didn't necessarily just have him kind of like get over it, because it's kind of something that you really don't get over, you kind of get through. And watching Micah continue to process this and having new situations trigger his feelings or his thoughts around it, and then seeing how he handles it, I think is one of a beautiful story for them to continue to tell, and I'm very excited that they're doing it. Now, also at the top of the episode, we see Charley, who is still in Los Angeles having political meetings. She's meeting with the Democratic Party, and they have their sights on her and further along her political career. Specifically, they think that she would be a great senator. She should run for senator. And I thought this was cool. Like, the fact that they're going this route, I never in a million years imagined this for Charley when we first got Queen Sugar. Like, at the very beginning, like, we know that she's an amazing businesswoman, very astute, highly intelligent, but I never really saw the political route for her. But I'm glad that they're doing what they're doing, because I think that this story in particular is going to show exactly like the roadmap for like how our new activists and politicians can do it. Like, right now, I feel like in real life, we're in a very weird space where everybody has social media and can use their voice, right? And some people have risen to popularity and just using their voice, but don't necessarily have the work behind it or the research behind it or the actual study and effort behind some of the spaces that they're occupying. And for us to see an actual storyline in mainstream media on a huge show like Queen Sugar, of this regular woman, and Charley's not regular by any means, but when I say regular, I mean like a civilian woman who had no political ambitions before, but with life circumstances and things changing and the world changing and wanting to make a difference, and watching her trajectory into politics and then her ascension in politics, it really lays a groundwork for like, this is how you do it. If you want to do it like this. And not that everybody has to follow Charley's path, but I don't think that we see enough of this. So a lot of people don't necessarily know what to do or how to do it. So I'm very, very excited to watch this. Like, I'm so excited to see this. Now, y'all let me know in the comment section, what do you think about Charley pursuing this larger platform in politics? Do you think that she would make an amazing state senator? Like, just tell me all of your thoughts below. Now, Nova. Nova is one of the ones who I would have anticipated doing something like this, but then also Nova has that like rebellious streak, so she doesn't necessarily really conform well to systems and to structure in that way, so that makes sense that she's not actually pursuing any political aspirations. However, True Papers is growing, and she is continuing to be the voice of the people, not just in St. Joe, but nationwide. And I think that this story that she has in reference to defund the police that she's pushing is really getting a lot of scrutiny on her. And in this episode, we kind of see what it seems like to be that they are bugging her phone. She's having interference with her phone. She's having issues with that. We saw last episode where we thought that somebody broke in because her door was open when she arrived home. And I think that we're really just going to see this escalate. And I feel like it's going to be something about retaliation in reference to her. And I'm hoping that it's not something that becomes super life-threatening. But right now, it is for sure very scary. In this episode, we learned what Vi has been hiding. So last episode, she had this extra dinner and she hid it from Hollywood, didn't tell nobody what it was, and she left something at a what looked like an apartment building, but now we know it's a motel. And in this episode, she actually winds up missing Hollywood's interview for the Real Spot launch because she's putting up a woman who's running from a domestic abuse situation. And this makes 100% sense because Jimmy Earl did a number on Vi and she made it through that. She survived that, and I could totally see why Vi is helping out this woman. You just really get a really heart-wrenching scene where she's able to show up for this woman and her child, talk to the child, coach him through what's actually going on, and really help calm the mom who is stressed and tired and fearful because her son wants his dad, but his dad will probably wind up killing the mom at some point, and they had to get out of there. So it was really great to see Vi actually stepping in and helping out in this way. What I'm really wondering though is why is she hiding this? I don't think that Hollywood will have a problem with it, or any of the family would have a problem with her helping out someone in this way. So why hide it, Vi? Now, I gotta go back and rewatch because Nova's seemingly new love interest is also a thing. This new neighbor, they have quite a bit of conversation throughout the episode, but nothing of like super substance. All I'm getting is like he could potentially be a love interest. Now, one thing I would like to know a little bit more about is like, is she still in contact with Calvin? Like, we just saw Calvin get carted away because he turned himself in last season, but we haven't heard anything else about him or her being in contact with him. And it's like, girl, you was gonna marry this man, you was deeply in love with this man. This was the first man that you actually let occupy space to the point of like coupledom, like for real, y'all are a unit. This is the first man that you let really do that, and now he's just kind of gone, and there's no inkling, there's no feelings, there's no thoughts, there's no longing, and I'm just very confused. And shout out to Darla, who wants to have a home birth and have a doula, and they actually start the conversation around Black mothers and their mortality rate and birthing in hospitals and trying to have a safe, healthy at home birth. I'm very excited to see how that storyline plays out. I am just loving watching Darla and Ralph Angel on screen. Like, to know where they came from, to see them now, oh my god, it is just such a beautiful journey that just keeps getting better with time. But y'all, that is it. That is my full Queen Sugar episode 2 from season 6 video breakdown. I hope that you enjoyed this. Oh my god, I really enjoy watching Queen Sugar every single week. It's just cinematically gorgeous. The storylines are amazing and relatable and inspiring, as well as very grounding. Let me know what you like about Queen Sugar in the comment section down below. It's your good sis Erica Vane, giving you all of the latest on the best television, film, and entertainment. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and join the tribe. If you missed any of my Queen Sugar videos, I have a playlist link for you on screen right now. Check it out, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!